Right guys, Dan Hendriksen here. We are at Torquay Golf Club in the studio, and I thought today we would have a little look at tee heights for irons. Now I've got 3 tees in my hand. I've got a blue, a red and an orange, small orange tee. We're also going to hit some shots off the deck as well. Now I've brought Lee in to do the experimenting for today. Now Lee's got a 5 iron. Now, the reason why we are doing this experiment is because when we were at Tavistock in the vlog, you got yourself a new 2 iron.
I did.
And which is going lovely. But I noticed and I commented to say that tee looks a little high there, Lee.
Yes.
As you teed off, I think, the first hole that we played.
Yeah.
So what I thought we would do today is share with you our experimenting to see what would happen as we change the heights in tee. So we're going to start off the floor with Lee's 5 iron, then we're going to go into the orange, then we're going to go into the red, and then we're going to go into the blue, and just as we go up through, we're going to raise the height slightly and just see what happens to the numbers from what the quad is going to give us. Let's get Lee to hit some shots for us. So we are starting off the deck.
Off the deck.
Off the deck, okay. Would you ever tee a ball off the ground when it comes to hitting this 5 iron? Would you ever chuck it on the tee and just give it a whack?
No. We've seen what happens when I chuck a ball on a tee and give it a whack.
Yeah, and when I say tee, I mean tee box, like just chucking it on the floor and hitting it.
Mentally, it doesn't feel right, whereas off the fairway it feels fine. But off the tee, it doesn't
quite
feel
a famous
right.
golfer once said, you know, why not give yourself a decent lie on the tee box? Why would you tuck it on the floor like that?
Yeah.
I think Jack Nicklaus might have said that, but someone might just comment saying that wasn't him, but that's who I remember saying it. But yeah, getting it on the right tee height is very important. So let's get you hitting a shot with the deck to start with.
No problem.
Good looking shot to start us off with there, Lee.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Yeah, foul.
That felt alright, did it?
Yeah, I've got no problems with this off the deck at all.
Okay, let's get 5 shots off the deck. Right, we had a slight blip on the middle section there, so let's just hit 1 more just for the numbers point of view, so try and get 5 shots with each position.
Is that what we're calling it, a blip?
It's a small blip. Decent strike. Comfortable?
Yep.
Just like hitting off the fairway, that?
Yeah, not a problem with that at all.
Okay, let's get on to the orange tee. Orange tee now, slightly off the deck, very, very small sort of setup, but that's more where you say you would have your normal iron.
Yeah, this would be
a tee box.
Yeah, this would be a normal tee shot for me.
Okay, let's give it a whack then. Good hit again, Lee. How did that feel?
Yeah, it's good.
Do you notice anything different straight off the face there?
I feel like it's coming higher in the face.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
that noticeable first shot down there was
yeah,
a little bit left on that shot, I think, but yeah, it was fractionally left, but still a decent strike. Slightly clean that time. Do you feel like you're doing anything different in the golf swing, like hitting down on it, up on it, that sort of thing, compared to what it was like off the deck? Feels
like the same swing to me.
Feels like the same swing, nothing changing. Strike location you still think is maybe just slightly higher on the face? I think it's slightly higher in the face, yeah. The good ones are. Let's move on now to red height. There's that little red tee there, Lee.
Very, very high. I'd still use this tee though.
It wouldn't bother you to hit that?
No, I'd still use it, but if I wanted something like a higher floaty shot to land softer, I'd probably might tee it up a little bit more than that. Well, that's my mentality with it anyway.
Okay, higher and floatier.
Yeah, so if I wanted to sort of like a softer landing, not as much of a penetrating flight, then I'd use this. Maybe club up a little bit, maybe 1 club or half a club more. Okay. Just for the extra height that's going to give me.
Okay, let's give it a go then. Strike certainly sounded slightly different, like I would suggest that was maybe just a smidgen higher up the face.
Yeah, which is what I'd expect.
Obviously what the numbers are showing now, but it definitely sounded that way from in here. But a decent shot, again, pretty much on target that one, Lee. Cool, these tees are floating around everywhere in here, aren't they? Like hanging around the studio. Right, last shot with the red tee then.
best till last.
That was the best strike, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That just sounded so much better at that.
Save the best till last.
Thoughts on that one?
I like it, but it's got the tendency to go a little bit too high on the face, and it just kills all the speed you've put into it.
Okay, so you're thinking of seeing a little bit of a drop off in ball speed?
Yeah, just as if it goes too high, it's sort of like the swing and everything else is there, but the distance just is killed.
Okay, well, again, we'll look at the numbers in a minute, but last tee, quite a high one now. We're going 19 millimetres high.
Oops.
Into the blue tee. That is a blue tee.
That's high up.
And that is a lot higher than you probably would like to see, I would imagine. But that is about the height of where your 2-iron was sat on that day. And I thought, blimey, Lee, what are you trying to do there? What were you trying to do with that?
With this 5-iron, I wouldn't use it. But with a 2-iron, having it that high up, and because it was a new club, I had no confidence in the club.
Oh, okay.
That, to me, is confidence that I'm not going to thin it. Because of the 2-iron, I didn't want to thin it. So I thought if I raised the tee up higher, the chance of thinning it are very little.
I mean, to be fair, you hit a pretty good shot, so you can't really
just
complain.
went really high.
It did just went high, didn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, let's get a few numbers with this blue one then. That was like it felt like it sounded like a slap.
Yeah, that's like up here somewhere.
It's turned over a little bit, which is consistent for you, but it was yeah, that sounded quite slappy.
No.
Right, one more, Lee.
Yep.
One more with this tee, your blue tee. Oh, again.
So high on
slapping
like,
it there.
It's like a no.
No, okay. So you're finding that a little bit more difficult playing with that tee down there, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'd get used to it and probably make adjustments for it, but for the purpose of this experiment, I'm trying to keep the same swing, and it feels horrible the minute you hit it.
Okay, well, let's get some numbers out. Let's have a little look at how they've been performing. Okay, Lee, let's start out with the numbers of what you're getting from off the deck. So, ball speed, 97 mile an hour. So you felt like you hit this quite well. If we look at angle of attack, so you're 0.3 up. You've got the odd one that you're hitting down on it, but you're sweeping it off the deck quite nicely. Okay. If we come over to the strike location, which is here, look, you can see you're 4 millimeters in the toe and 8 millimeters low on an average, but majority of them a lot lower, certainly nothing in the high bracket there. Yeah?
Yeah.
If we go over to the actual ball data, spinning it at 5,345, so for a 5-iron that's fine, absolutely fine for that. And then average carry 186, 41 yards high. So pretty much that's spot on, I would say, from a yardage point of view. I have taken out one that was a bit of a blip. But the rest, we'll call it a blip, but the rest, 194, 196, 180, 175 and 187, very good numbers, pretty much where you'd be, I think, with your 5-iron. If we then come over to the orange tee, so this is the one that's slightly up, so a few millimeters off the deck, we've got angle of attack. Now you've moved from 0.3 up to now 1.3 up, so you're definitely actively trying to slightly hit up on the golf ball with that tee position like it is. We'll see how the other tees get on, and now strike location, you've gone from 8 millimeters low to now 4 millimeters low and 2 millimeters in the toe. So you've kind of halved the position of where you would have from the off the deck to where you've got up onto that initial little tee. If we look then at the spin, so you're spinning it around 300 revs, 350 revs difference between hitting off a deck and hitting off the tee. And that's exactly what I would expect to see as you start to rise up the club face a fraction. I'm expecting that spin to just pick up, or I'm expecting that spin to actually just drop off a fraction. Yeah. So the lower you come down the face, I'm expecting the spin to rev up. The higher we go, we should see that spin start to hopefully drop off, subject to strike. And then 184 in the carry.
We did have a blip in there as well.
We had a small blip there, yeah. I could take that one out there, that little Duffy one, but 191. But you can see, a little bit further what you were getting out of that, and that's, again, I think that's more subject to the fact that you've got a little bit less spin and it's firing out there, coming out a little bit lower as well, 41 yards high to 39 yards high. Let's now move over to red tee. And again, you can see we're starting to creep up the club face here, 5mm high, a little bit more in the toe, from 8mm low to 6mm low, or when I put that blip back in, you're 4mm low. So definitely rising up the club face. Angle of attack, you've interestingly gone back to level. So you've kind of gone from level to then one up to now back to level. So jumping around a little bit. Not sure why that would be the case, but that's just you reacting to the situation. If we look at your spin really rev up now, which is again really interesting. Considering I was expecting it to go lower, you've actually started to get that spin to come up a little bit. And that might have something to possibly do with the loft, but no, it's not. Look, loft is at 26 degrees. Why are you getting that? Okay, so angle of attack 0. The path is a little bit less in to out. So we're getting a little bit more with that. Club face, maybe playing a bit of a face factor, so it's not closed down quite as much as what you've been. But definitely I would expect that spin to start to drop off, which it hasn't done. If we look at your yardage, 172 on an average. I mean, again, where are we? Sorry, 175 on an average with your yardage, which I've taken out the first shot that you hit, but it's very inconsistent, really losing that consistency. If we then move up to the blue tee, now we are angle of attack back to 1 degree up. So this is exactly what I'd expect to see. You start hitting up on the ball a little bit more, but 1 degree up. And your strike location, again, a little bit higher in the face, so 9mm high. I expect the spin to drop off, but the spin still continues to rise up as you come up through. So it is interesting how I expect the spin to sort of start to drop off as you go higher up, but actually it's starting to spin up a fraction more. Different, definitely interesting, but your launches are going up as well as we go up through the shots. And then carry distances, 172. I just think possibly is it the ball speed that's maybe dropping off a fraction. So it is, as you're going up the club, you've got 128 ball speed, 127 ball speed, 124 and 122. So you're losing a little bit of ball speed as you go higher into the face. So what do you take from those numbers that we've got there, Lee?
Consistency, really.
Yeah.
I can hit a good shot off any tee.
Yeah.
But there's like on the higher tees there may be one on the orange and off the ground. There, apart from a blip, they were all decent strikes. So it's just 2 all over the face. Whereas when it's with my normal height and off the ground, it's more consistently in the centre.
So absolutely right with what Lee is saying there. You know, I see so many players in pro-ams, especially on par 3s, they tee the ball up a little bit too high. Now, obviously, I can hear the strike when it happens. If a ball is struck a little bit high up in the face, I can also see from the flight that they start to lose a little bit of speed off the club face. And this is something that I think you guys need to be aware of as well, is go to your local pro, get an idea as to what type of tee height you need to be. Don't just go and guess. Get a proper idea as to where you need to be hitting it in the club face to get the best results you possibly can. And as Lee quite rightly said, become more consistent with your strike positions from those irons. Let me know, put your comments down below. I'd like to know if you've been and had something like this done as well, a little test with your pro, and let me know what they say to you with the results that came back from it. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing, and as always, stay safe and we'll catch up with you again soon.